And we are live at Ryan's Family Amusements in Millis, Massachusetts with the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Tim Douglas at Ryan MacDougall, Duncan MacDougall. Get my name straight. This is Dan Castle. Tonight we have a 5-string match in the A division of the ACST. These are bowlers of 110 averages or higher. We saw Tim Douglas last week throw a 666 string or set, and Duncan's been well into the 600s as well. We'll look up the statistics as we go along. So we're off. The first ball is thrown. Tim Douglas throws a 9-drop, and Tim is the visiting bowler. Duncan is the home bowler. The bowlers will each bowl 5 boxes in the string, and then sit down and let the other bowler come up. The home bowler usually goes second. Tim starts off with a spare in the first box of the first string. After the first 5 boxes each bowler throws, we'll switch to lane 8. We're currently on lane 7 here at Ryan's. You'll see plenty of league activity around us. And then they'll finish up the string on the second lane. They'll do a total of 5 strings. Each string, the winner is awarded 2 points toward their ACST playoff standings, and the winner of the total score for all 5 games wins 4 additional points. Tim fills his spare with an 8. He's got the 8 and the 9 pin with some wood in front of it. See what he does, and the wood doesn't do any help for him, so he'll be open in the second frame. He's 18 after 1. And going for the 10 box. Nicely done. He's all over that pin.
Objects, baby.
Hey, coming into the 3rd box already, Tim Douglas is ready to throw a ball. Now, we're not showing the speeds up here on the scoreboard. And the fact is the scoreboard here does calculate the ball speed, but at Ryan's it maxes out at about 40 miles an hour. And we clocked Tim the other day throwing a 42. He's got one of the fastest balls in the game.
Oh, good bid.
So he's going to be open in the 3rd box. And another 10 box. So every pin's been knocked down so far. Tim's at 38 after 3 boxes. Going into the 4th box. And I see Caitlin Finn is watching. Caitlin, could you do a sound check for me, essentially? I can't tell for sure whether this is getting picked up or not well, so let me know how my sound quality is. And Tim drops 8 in the 4th box. Picks up another mark. That's his 2nd mark in the half. So he's at 48 plus a ball after 4. Going for the fill in the 5th box. And he's all over the pocket and he drops a strike. Can't get a better fill than that. We'll see a lot of those from Tim, I'm sure. And he sits down with 68 plus 2 balls after 5 boxes. Now Duncan MacDougall will be coming up. Duncan's relatively new to the ACST. He took over the position for a bowler who was injured recently. And I've been to a couple of Duncan's matches, and I've seen him bowling in league. He's quite a bowler. He's got a unique approach. First ball, he's all over the head pin, but he only got a 3 down, a spread eagle plus a couple. He picked up a couple more on the spare attempt. So now he's got 3 to the right and 2 to the left. And he'll close out with an 8 box. So he's down 10 pins so far to Tim Douglas 18 in the first box, but it's only the first box. In the second box, he's off on the 2 pin. And he picks up everything but the 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10. And that's a spare. He takes all of those. So a spare in the second. That gives him 18 in a ball. If he gets a strike, he's back tied to Tim. Tim is at 28 in the second box. And he's off on the 6 pin, but gets a great break. He's throwing at 33 miles an hour, which is a pretty powerful ball. And he's left with he gets a 7 fill. He's at 25 after 2, and he's left with the 1, 3, and the 8 pin with some wood. I don't think that wood's particularly helpful, but if he gets a big splash, he might get the spare. He's on it, and he's got it. He took the ball over to the 8 pin, and 2 spares in a row for Duncan, puts him at 35, plus the ball to Tim Douglas, 38. Coming into the 4th box, way off on the 10 pin. Not happy with that. So he has an 11 for the 3rd box. Closes out the 3rd box with 36. He's 2 pins down from Tim Douglas, 38. That time he's in the pocket. And he's got a piece of wood that's going to just gently kiss the 4 pin. And picks up the 10. Duncan MacDougall's at 46 after 4. Tim Douglas is at 58 after 4, and he's up against a strike in the 5th. And Duncan again paints the 10 pin. We all hate it when we throw a few of those. He recovers, puts it on the 2 pin, picks up everything but the 1, 7, and 8. So a nice recovery on that. And the 8 pin only, so Duncan will sit down with an 8 box, giving him a 54 half. Now we're going to see Tim Douglas again on lane 8. He's on a strike. He's at 68 plus the total of the first 2 balls. That was not a bad half by Duncan at all, but he's got some work to do to catch up with Tim. Here we go, Tim Douglas on his first of 2 fill balls. And he takes out 6, leaves a 4 horseman left. It's always challenging for the bowlers when we do this on a league night, when there's bowlers on either side, but the bowlers here are very good with lane etiquette, so not terribly bad concern. Tim fills his strike with an 8. That's a 76 half. But he's going to be open in the 6th and finishes with a 9 box. And when I look at the scoreboard, I can see that's the very first pin that Tim left standing. But regardless, he's got 85 after 6. Coming into the 7th box, Tim hits the 1-2 pocket, which is opposite of where he typically wants to be. Gets a weird leave. The ball just kind of bounced to the left and didn't take out as much as he wanted, but he's left with the 3, 4, 7, 10. Some wood over by the 2 on the left. He's got to play it off the 3 pin, which he does beautifully. And the pins move around, but they don't take out the 10 pin. He's got it now, 95 after 7 for Tim Douglas. I had the pleasure on the team outrun the Bear event earlier this last year. I had a team together, and by random draw, we ended up in the lane next to Tim and his brother and 2 of their friends. And they're a lot of fun to bowl next to. Really nice people. Timmy drops 6. He has the 5, 6, 7, 10 wood in front of the right-hand side. With his ball, he might just make this go. And he does! Strategically played the ball off the wall. I would never claim that was an accident, but he makes a spare. He's at 105 after 8 with the fill to go. Off on the 3-pin, picks up 6 in the fill, so that gives Tim 111 after 8. 2 more boxes to go. It's going to be a tough spare. See if he can make it. He has a little cluster of 4 down there. On the object pin, tries to take it off the wall, but leaves the 8 and a 9 pin. And it's a 9 box for a 120 after 9. Putting some pressure on Duncan here. I think Duncan can rise to the occasion. And we need a reset here because the 2-pin decided that it didn't want to play right now and fell down in advance of the ball going. So fresh rack. Here goes Tim in the 10th box of the first string. He's off on the 2-pin, and he's left with a Cleary right, which is the 1, 3, 6, 10, and an 8-pin hiding in the back. He can split on there. No, he's taking on the inside. He just picks up the 8-pin. I think he missed where he was going. He's got 4 to go, and that'll give him 130 if he can get all 4. And he picks up 3 of them, so Tim Douglas will sit down with a 129 string. And here we go with Duncan MacDougall on lane 8 to do the second half. He's going to need 75 pins to tie and 80 to win. Or no, 76 to win. What am I doing? That's not right. So that's what he's looking to do. That's going to require probably a minimum of 2 marks, maybe 3. Duncan's at 54 at the 5th box. At this point in the string, Tim was at 76. Duncan on his first ball. Off onto the 2-pin, but he gets some good action to help him here. He's left with a 1, 3, 10 and a piece of wood that can be helpful. Through a 33 mile-an-hour ball again. Duncan's very deliberate in his approach, always studies the lead. And he's just off the 1-pin, off the head pin, leaves that alone standing. Nice effort at that spare. And he picks up the single for 64 after 6. He's down 21 pins from Tim Douglas, who's at 85 after 6. Duncan needs to mark frequently now. I'm saying he needs probably 3 marks here. Nice head pin shot. And the wood looked better until that pin fell. Now he has the 4, 7, 10. Wood halfway in the gutter on the left. And there's wood in front of the 10-pin. I don't know if there's really a good way to shoot this, but Duncan's going to take a good look at it, see what he thinks is the best bet. And here he goes for the spare attempt. He's going on the right side. And that is interesting. That threw the wood over and took out the 6-pin, or the 4-pin, but the 7 and 10 remain. Probably just going to go for a 9 now. He's going again to the right, takes out the 10, and it dances over. Almost takes out the 7, but not quite. 9 box for Duncan. 73 after 7. He's down 22 pins from Tim, and he's up against a spare on the 8. He needs to mark out. And that was a great ball. It looked like it was going to be a strike to me, but he left a 6-pin. No wood that's of any importance in this sleeve. And he's off to the right on it. It'll be open in the... Duncan will be open in the 8th box. And it's a 9, so Duncan's at 82 after 8. Again, we're bowling 5 strings today. The bowlers will each be awarded 2 points for each game that they win. In the event of a tie, they split the points and get 1 each. And then the bowler who wins the total score receives 4 points. And he's all over the pocket on the left-hand side, and that's a strike. So that gives him 92. So if he strikes out, he's got a shot here. I have to sit down and do the math tonight. Don't have it in my head. He's in the... Oh, it's just off the pocket. Punches out a half Worcester right. Really wants a big fill here. Even if he's not going to win this string, pin total is critically important. So it's a 6 fill, and Duncan ends up with 98 after 9. Tim Douglas will win this first string. And Duncan closes with an 8 box, 106. And Tim Douglas wins with a 129 to 106. And he'll be awarded the first 2 points.
If I stop throwing ones in my first box, I think I'll be okay.
You probably heard Duncan saying if he stopped throwing ones in his first ball, then he'd be in better shape. All right, now Timmy Douglas comes up on the left-hand lane, lane 7 at Ryan's Family Amusements, and he'll start off game 2. Powerful ball, and he was just to the right of the head pin on the 3. We may need a judgment if that wood's good or not, but right now the pins standing are the 1, 4, 7, 10. Tim believes it to be good. It's in the light. He caps it, and he takes the spare. What a shot that was.
What a beautiful.
That's how you do that. He capped the wood and just carried the ball over the right way so that it took out a 10. That was a pro shot, folks. Timmy's on the head pin. He's left with a check mark on the right-hand side. It's a 6 fill, 16 after 1. And he takes out the object pin, but just the object pin. A little too full, obviously, on that pin. So now he's got the 5, 6, and 10. And it's a 9 box for 25 after 2 for Tim Douglas.
Here we go.
Coming into box 3, Tim Douglas on his first ball. He's off on the 2 pin. Avoids a half Worcester, but he has the 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 remaining. And he catches it. Perfectly done in the pocket. His second spare of the string. 35 plus a ball after 3. And Timmy's coming up into the 4th box.
Take your time up there, guys. Just you. Come on.
And on his fill, he has 6.
All right, go get it.
That gives Tim 41 after 3. And just misses the spare. I believe that's the head pin still remaining. It might be the 5, but I think that's a hit. And it's gone now, so a 51 after 4.
All right, sit with 1. Come on. Here we go.
Tim has been on fire lately, throwing some big sets. And again, he's throwing probably around 42 miles an hour. I don't know. That's what it was the other day. He's in the pocket, and he gets a lot of action, but the 4, 9, 10 are left with no wood.
They make it look good.
It'll be pretty if he makes it, but he's got to take something off the wall, I think. And he tries to kick the 4 pin over to the 9 and 10. And he does it. No wood in use at all. Kicks the 4-pin over to take out the 9 and 10 for a 10 box. That was pretty. Now he's just showing off, I think. That's a great shot.
Let's go! Sean, you're done. Well, I got a ball back there.
And that shot got some attention from the league bowlers. The bowler next to him just threw a strike. Now Duncan comes up against Tim's 61.5. And he's right on the head pin. Spread eagle, my least favorite leave. Hate it when I do that. In this division, you only have about a 4 to 5% chance of making a spare on this, but it's been done. And Duncan threw the hole again. He dropped the ball. I got you here. So just trying to get a respectable score in the first box and threw the hole again. Duncan starts out with a 4 box. Duncan's going to take a moment to compose himself after the 4 box. That's a good move. Take a breath. It's not over. Long ways to go. And that time he's trying for the left-hand pocket. It takes down 7. He's left with a 1, 3, and 6 pin. And he's on the object pin, but it doesn't carry. Just the head pin goes. And an 8 box for 12 after 2. So he's down 13 pins after 2 boxes. Tim Douglas has a 25 at the second box. Coming into box 3, here comes Duncan. He's on the 3 pin. He gets some action. He's left with a 1, 2, 6, and 10. Makeable spare if he cuts it over. Question is, does he go on the inside and try to take the ball over or carry the pin over? He's going on the inside, and only the 1 pin goes. He was on where he wanted to be, but it's just a little full on the head pin. Now I think he's probably going to go for 2, which he does. He gets 1 of those 2. It's an 8 box, 20 after 3 for Duncan MacDougall versus 41 after 3 for Tim Douglas. Duncan can get back into this thing with a couple of marks here. He's fully capable. In the pocket, and a nice drop, everything but the 5 pin, the king pin. And he misses a spare, goes to the right. Really wanted that one. And off to the left on that one. So a 9 box, 29 after 4. He's going to mess with the shoe a little bit. He's thinking he might be sticking a little bit. And starting off the 5 box, the 5th box in the second string. And he's right in the pocket, nicely shot, but the 10 pin doesn't go. And he gets the spare. He's happy for that one. That gives him 39 plus a ball after 5, and now Tim Douglas will come up on lane 8. Tim Douglas will come up for his 6th box with 61 in the 5th. And I'm going to be looking for statistics here. Timmy throws it right in the pocket, and he's giving himself another opportunity for another amazing shot because he's got the 7, 8, and 10 and some ambiguous wood down there. And he makes that wood dance around, but the 7 pin sits. Stays right where it is.
Gotta hit them all, kid.
And we have some wood that's halfway down the lane right now, so Duncan's going to do the courtesy of going down and picking that up for Tim. While we're doing that, I'm looking up current stats in the ACST. Again, this is an A division match. A division is our top bowlers who bowl 110 or better. And Tim ends up with a 9 box for 70 after 6. There are 32 bowlers in the A division. There's the North Conference and the South Conference. This is the South Conference. And each conference is divided further into 4 groups. So the top bowler at the end of the season in point accumulation in each group will go to the playoffs, plus the top 2 after that will get the wild card. And then they'll have a bracket series, ultimately determining the championship versus the other conference. Tim drops 7 in the first ball of the 7th box. And just picks out the middle pin. And picks goes through the hole. Field goals don't help us at all in this sport, though.
Don't learn from me. Come on, man. We got this, man.
So right now I'm waiting on my internet connection for my tablet to give me the standings. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. In the live action, Timmy was off on the right, but with his ball he gets so much action. He takes out everything but the 3, 4, 7, and a whole bunch of wood down there that I don't think can hurt. And he gets it. No doubt about that one.
Oh, there's my guy. There's my guy. Look at that. Those biceps. Come on, babe.
Now we're going into the 9th box. Tim is at 88 plus a ball after 8. There we go. Now my internet's working. I've got multiple devices here. I've got my laptop running the show and watching comments on my cell phone, and I have a tablet to look up stats. And for somebody who's not much of a techie, that's amazing for me. Doesn't mean I'm good at it. Tim drops 9 on his first ball, almost gets a strike. That gives him 97 after 8. He's coming in for another spare attempt with a 10 pin and some wood in front of it that leaves no doubt. He's got another spare 107 plus a ball after 9. Okay, and the stats are coming up. Timmy's on the fill ball in the 10th. He hits off on the 3 pin but drops 8. That gives him an 8 fill for 115 after 9. Another makeable spare lead with just the 1 and the 2. No wood to interfere. All over it. 125 plus a ball. Tim Douglas putting on a clinic for us. And 1 ball remaining for Tim. Just needs to fill the spare in the 10th. And he drops 7. That gives Tim a 132 string in his second game. So he's got a 129 in his first string, a 132 in his second. Duncan's got a lot of work cut out for him. He needs to really make multiple marks here. He's at 39 plus a ball. And he's on a fill. Picks up just 2. That gives him a 41.5. on a spare attempt. Much better ball. Takes out everything but the 7 and the 10. And he goes for a 9 box, and he just about takes out the 10 pin too. Really kicked that wood around. That was great. On box 7, Duncan drops 8. He's got some wood in front of the 6 and the 4 and the 7, and it's a spare. Much needed spare for Duncan. That'll give him 59 and a ball at the 7th. He's up against a 78 at that point. And I'm having some trouble getting these standings up right now. We'll come back to that. Duncan on the fill. He's off on the 6 pin. I call that my own alternate head pin because sometimes I go through spells where I'm all over that. But he only took out 3 for the fill. That gave him 62. And he's got another mark. Now he's in this game. Now he's at 72 plus a ball. But Timmy threw a spare and he's at 97. And he's got 2 more spares after that. So Duncan needs some strikes here to have a chance. He's off on the 2 pin, a light fill. That's just 3. That gives him 75. He's down 22 pins to Tim's 97. And he's up against another spare. Bounces the ball down, just misses the object pin. Takes out everything but the 1 and the 8. And he picks up the head pin. So it's a 9 box, and Tim Douglas will win this string. Because even with a 30, the highest that Duncan can have is a 114. And that's a great ball. He drops everything but the 9 pin. He's got a nice piece of wood in front of it on each directly, out a little ways, and another one that's leaning up against it. So he's got a spare opportunity here. And he's got the spare, 94 and a ball. And we have to reset again because the 2 pin once again fell down. There must be something on the deck down there to make that happen. Duncan for the fill, and he drops 8. So Duncan closes out with a 102. And Tim Douglas had a 132, wins that one by 30. So in total so far, Tim Douglas is at 261 after 2 strings, and Duncan MacDougall is at 208. So Duncan has a 53-pin lead so far. Now we're in the 3rd string. Duncan drops 9. That looked like that was going to be a strike, that's for sure. So far he's had a mark in the first box on both games we played so far. But not this time. So Tim will be open in the first box. And is that good or not? And Tim says it's not good, so it's a 9 box. It connected with the wood that was in the gutter, and that's not a fair hit, so the pin does not count for him. So 9 box after 1 for Tim Douglas. I'm sure he's disappointed because that looked like it should have been a strike. Now this time he's in the pocket. Little light. He ends up with a split here. Duncan made a great effort on this split earlier. 2, 4, 6, and 10. And Tim goes to the left and just takes out the 4-pin. And he's going for a 9-box. He gets a 9-box 18 after 2. So far, he's opened the first 2 boxes. Going into the 3rd box, Tim gets a half Worcester left, just takes out the 2 and the 8-pin. Makes a nice effort on the spare, but only takes out the middle portion. He's got 2 on the left, 2 on the right. That's the 4 and the 7 and the 6 and the 10. Tries to pick up more than 1, but just gets 1. 7-box, 25 after 3. And we have a whole bunch of pins falling down on their own down there.
There you go, Pete. Should be on TV.
Now we're coming into the 4th box after a delay, and Tim is off on the 3-pin. Drops everything with a 1 and a 2. Some wood to the left. It's not going to be helpful. And he's on it, picks up his first spare of the 3rd string. That'll give him 35 plus a ball after 4.
Sit with one now.
And now he's coming into the 5th box. He's left the door open a little bit for Duncan here. And on his fill, he gets 7, 42 after 4 with the 1, 3, and 8 pin, or 1, 3, and 9 pin remaining. And he's just on the 3-pin. So he'll be opening the 5th. He's at 50 so far. And a 10-box for a 52 half for Tim Douglas. And Duncan MacDougall coming up for the first portion of the 3rd string. And Duncan's off on the right on the 3-pin a little bit. He has a 4 horsemen remaining, makeable spare. And he's off to the right, doesn't get anything. But he closes out with a 9-box that keeps him even right now with Tim Douglas. All right, now we're finding the standings finally. Duncan's off on the 2-pin. So again, for a reminder, the ACST is broken into 3 divisions. This is the A division, which are bowlers of 110 averages or better. There's a North Conference and a South Conference. Each conference has 16 bowlers competing. Those 16 bowlers are broken into 4 groups of 4. So Tim Douglas is in group 3 of the 4 groups, and he's leading that group currently. Duncan, what an effort on that spare, but it didn't go. So he's leading his group of Stephen Bott, Dan Gauthier, and Pete Riscatelli. And his record so far is 77 points in the win column, 35 points in the loss column, and Tim is averaging 120.03. Duncan is in group 4 that he shares with Charlie Collins, Mike Nardone, and Brian Heffernan, and Duncan currently is in 3rd place with the 57 points in the win column and 97 in the loss column. Some of those he inherited from the prior bowler who occupied that position. And Duncan's averaging 111. He makes a nice effort at that spare. He only had a 9 box in the last one. He's at 18. They're tied up at the moment, but he's taken a slight lead over Tim. In terms of the playoff standings, Tim is definitely in the playoffs being leader of his group. And in a wild card race, Duncan's quite a ways down there. He's 14 games back with 7 matches remaining. He's not been eliminated yet, but it's not far. His elimination number currently is 57. If he loses 57 points, then he would be eliminated. Duncan picks up just 3 on his first ball in the 4th box. He's at 28 after 3. 3 pins ahead of Tim, but Tim had a spare in the 4th. So he'll regain the lead, and Duncan goes wide and just takes a 4 box here. So 42 to 32 after 4 boxes. So Duncan looking to mark in the 5th box to try to catch up here. On the 3 pin. He's got some late falling pins, and he has a high-low jack. Some wood there that might help. That's the 1-7-10. Pretty shot when it goes. And oh boy, that looked like that was going to go. He hit it just right, but the 10 pin decided to stay up. The leagues have finished up, so we're getting some dark alleys, and it's a 10 box for Duncan, 42 after 5, to Tim Douglas, 52 after 5. That was unfortunate because I thought he hit that high-low jack just perfect. That looked great. And pins were flying, but nothing went over and took out the 10. All right, now coming into the second half, now we're at the midpoint of our match. And Tim Douglas starts out with a strike. That's a big one. That's what we call a hammer. No doubt about that one. The last match I called with Tim, he had 2 or 3 strikes with 1 pin that just lingered for a long time. Not that time. And I recall from the last match that when Tim throws a strike, he seems to want to use the same ball. So he was waiting for that ball to come back. Coming into the 7th. Trying for a double. 2 full. He gets a spread eagle. So the first half of the fill is 4. Tim's at 62 plus these 2 balls. So add 4 to this, and then whatever he gets on this ball, which is a sparing of a spread eagle. You saw it here. One of the rarest shots we ever see. Bob Lee is calculated only about 4% of the time does a pro bowler pick it up, and Tim Douglas just spared a spread eagle. So he's got a 10 fills, 72 after 6. And on his spread eagle spare, he picked up 8 more. He's at 90 after 7. That's something you just don't see every day. Douglas going for 3 marks in a row. And he's got it. 100 after 8 plus a ball. And on the fill. Oh, that looked like that was going to be another strike. But he's got a triangle in the middle, which is a 5, 8, 9, and a 10 pin. It almost makes it. So he's at 106 after 8. He's got 9 so far. And it's a 9 box for a 115 after 9. Same spot he was in the last one, if I recall. Pretty close. He's just consistent as anything. Even with a slow start in this string. Off the pocket. On the 3 pin. 1, 2, 4, 7. 4 horsemen left. And amazingly, that does not go. He was in it, right where he wanted to be, and the pins just flew around the 7 pin. Just one of the random things that can happen. And he makes a 9, so Tim Douglas ends up with a 124. That's actually his lowest scoring string so far. And a 385 for 3. Now Duncan's coming up. He's got some work to do again. He needs an 82 half to tie, 83 to win this string. And right on the head pin. He's fortunate not to get a spread eagle. He's got the 3 on the left, the 3 pin on the right. And he picks up the spare. Duncan again is waiting for a reset. And 8 in a fill for 60. And another mark for Duncan MacDougall for 70 after 7 with a fill up against 90. On another fill ball, and he gets another 8. Now he's filling them the way he should. 78 after 7. He's down 12 pins. He's up against despair in the 8th and then 2 open boxes, so there is an opportunity for him. He misses this mark, though. But he gets a 10. 88 after 8 to 106 that Tim Douglas has at this point. Tim ended up with a 124. Duncan can do it, but he needs 2 marks. It's going to be a challenging one. 1, 3, 6, 8 in the back. It's possible. And he's on the 3 pin, doesn't get this. Still has the 1, the 6, and the 8 left. No wood. He got one of those for an 8 box. He's at 96. he can catch Tim with a double strike. And a big fill after that, but he needs a strike here. And it's not going to happen, so Tim Douglas will win the third string. And Duncan cleans up, makes a 9-box for 105. Or no, he misses a spare. I'm sorry, that was the second ball. I'm looking at too many things here. My apologies. It's going for the 10. And now it's official. It's a 105 game. Tim Douglas will take all 6 points that have been available so far. 2 points for each string. And he has, in total, Tim has 385 to Duncan's 313. So he's up 72 pins so far after 3 games.
You know, that could be a lot worse.
And you can hear Duncan there. Well, it could be a lot worse. That's absolutely true. Now we're coming into our 4th game, and Tim Douglas is on the 2-pin. Some late action at 3 goes. Is the 7 going to go? It doesn't. I don't think it's going to. Yeah, it's just the 1 and the 7 to pick up for the spare. And he goes in between, doesn't pick up either of them. So he'll be open in the first box. Gets just the head pin, a 9-box for Tim Douglas. Second box on the 2-pin. It's some great action. Everything down but the 10-pin. Some wood there that might deflect the ball, might help him. Hard to tell. Probably will want to go directly at that pin.
Oh, yeah.
Takes it off the wood. Makes a spare in the second. Now on the fill in the 3rd box. It's a 7 fill. Gives Tim 26 after 2. Now he's on the spare attempt. He's on the object pin, but the 7 pins decides to stay standing. But he picks it up now. It's a 10-box, 36 after 3 for Tim Douglas. And for those just joining us so far in the match, and I know I don't put the scores up there, Tim has won all 3 games that we played so far, so he's at 385 in total. Duncan MacDougall has been consistently over 100, but he's at 313. So Tim has a solid lead so far. Oh, Tim made a great effort on that. He had dropped 5 in his first ball. Had a little split there, picked it up, but the 4-pin decided to be stubborn and stuck around. But it's gone now. The left-hand pocket drops 9. 10 pin is still up. And another spare for Tim Douglas. He sits down with 56 and a ball. Okay, Duncan's coming up for his first box in the fourth string. Puts the ball beautifully in the pocket, drops 9. Only the 6-pin remains. And it's gone. He doesn't even look at it. He knew that was going. Spare in the first for Duncan. Now Duncan's on the fill in the second. And he gets some late action for a 4 drop, 14 after 1. He's at the 4 horsemen right plus 2 pins. And he's in the left-hand pocket on that. And it's a 10 box. 24 after 2. And just to check with those who are watching, if you can hear me, please indicate in the columns. I'm not seeing the captions coming up, so I'm wondering if I have a voice connection. I can't tell. Duncan in the pocket with a 9 drop. And another mark for Duncan. He's right on those single pins. Thanks, Rich. I appreciate it. I was getting a little bit of a message that I didn't have internet connectivity, but it was obviously broadcasting, so I was just getting a little curious whether the sound was coming through or not. And that's a 9 drop for Duncan, 43 after 4. The 10 pin stands alone. But he goes a little bit wide to the left. It's going to be an open box. And it remains a 9 box. Duncan's at 52 after 4. At this point in the string, Tim was at 46. Duncan coming up into the 5th box, hoping to cement his lead in this string. First ball. Well, that looked like a strike ball. He's left with a 5-10 split, but he's got some wood in front of the 5. And Duncan's going to go into the other lane and take a good look at that one, see how he can deflect the ball over, because I think that's what he needs to do. Do you hit it high? Do you hit it low? Do you hit the red line? That's what he's trying to figure out. And he hits it high, but it doesn't carry the 10 pin. Nice try. Ten pin's gone now. 62.5 for Duncan MacDougall. He feels better about that one than the last 2. Tim's at 56 plus a ball, so he can take the lead on this half, but not a big lead. It all depends on what his fill is, his first ball in the 6th box. And here it comes. He's off on the 3 pin. He picks up 5. Is it going to be 6? It's 5, so he's at 61 after 5. Duncan has a 1-pin lead for the first half of the 4th string. Now Tim's attempting the spare on this split. What an effort. But the 4 and the 10 remain. And he makes field goal. It's an 8 box, 69 after 6. Again, the 2-pin fell. Some kind of debris back on the deck, because it's consistently the 2-pin that falls. So Tim's going to
If it's the same 2 every time, it's the 2, right?
Do a reset.
Well, it's the same spot. It's either that, it's either the 2 or the 4. Every time, it's the 2.
Here come the pins again. So Tim's in his 7th box. He's a 69 after 6. Throws a little wide. He's on the 3 pin. Gets a lot of action with that 40-mile-an-hour ball of his.
There for you. Go get it.
He took out everything but the 1, 2, and 10 pin. Misses to the inside. Now for the 10. And it's an 8 box. 77 after 7. So far the door's open for Duncan to take this. But there's 3 boxes to go. And we've seen what Tim does in those last few boxes. Saw him throw a triple strike against Rob Linehan last Wednesday. He's in the pocket that time. But it doesn't help him a whole lot. He's got the 2 and the 8 front to back, and then a 6 and the 10. Justin Wood over on the left. We'll see if he uses that. I think he's going to. He does. Does a great, valiant effort on that, but it leaves the 8 pin. I don't know how much better he could have hit that. And it's a 9 box for an 86 after 8. All right, so we're going to be joined with the guest announcer, the commissioner himself, Danny Finn, has agreed to come down here and sit on the mic with me for a little bit. We're seeing quite a show by Tim Duncan so far. He's a 385 after 3. And he almost picks up the spare in the 9th. So I don't know if you saw it or not, Dan, but Tim spared a spread eagle.
I did not see that. I've done that once in my entire career. So
Check it out.
if anybody can make it, Timmy's one of those guys. Throws a hard enough ball.
Oh, there's a 10 box for 96. He's a little slower in this game. He's not been below 124 so far.
Probably going to need a mark here to feel any type of comfort. It's Duncan right on his rear end.
There's definitely something that down on the deck. It's been the 2 or the 4 pin falling every time. Yeah, Tim's been putting on quite a show for us here. I'm glad I'm not bowling against him.
You look at some of the elite bowlers in the A right now. Justin, Waters, Charlie Collins, Ed Woodside in the South, and Timmy's right in that group.
So he drops 7 and leaves one of my favorite leaves.
A Castle.
5, 6, 10. Some wood. Almost. Is he going to get it?
No, he's gonna,
Almost gets it.
He had 3 shots at that going.
Well, it's going to be his lowest game so far. He's left the door open. It's a 10 box. Tim Douglas finishes with a 106.
Duncan could pin his way to a win here with a 45 half. But in these situations, you want to get a mark early and give yourself some breathing room. I don't know if he's looking at total at this point. I do know 2 points is 2 points.
Yeah, he needs a couple of big wins to have a chance at total. Yeah, there's nothing I hate than being in a close match. I think I've got it wrapped up, and then I'm down to the 10th box, and I need 9.
Exactly.
I don't need a spare. I need a 9, because that's when I get an 8.
that might be what he's looking at if he doesn't mark. I try to tell myself, get the mark out of the way, make your life easy. Easier said than done, of course.
Duncan's been a little hotter in this string the last 2. He started off with about a 42 half last string. He came back and got a 105. But he didn't want that to happen. That's a half blister right.
Still makeable.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to want every pin he can get here.
Years and years ago, I was in a tournament in Natick, and I got 3 of those in a row and spared all 3 of them. I don't think I could do that these days.
You go hole side or do you go pin side on those situations?
I like to go through the hole.
That's where I go.
It looks cooler. But I don't like to go through the hole twice.
No.
Duncan with an 8 box that gives him 70 after 6. He's ahead 1 pin.
Now he's in a position where he needs to. 9s and 10s the rest of the way. He doesn't mark.
Now he's off on the 3 pin. That time he's spared from having a half Worcester.
But it's not bad.
No,
It's not
the
bad.
7 and 9, the wood could make this for him. Could also leave the 7 pin. It's hard to tell. It's a lot of wood.
A little bit of bounce.
Oh yeah. He bounced that one down there, and one of the pieces of wood slid up against the 7, but not hard enough to take.
And would still be big here. Oh,
Well, he cleared the gutter out, and that gives him 79 after 7 to Tim Douglas 77. So he has a 2-pin lead right now.
10 and 2 9s will do it.
Again, the 2-pin falls.
You gotta complain to somebody who works here.
Yeah, we got to find somebody who works at Ryan's who can fix that. That's annoying.
It's funny, we actually had our mechanic here earlier today. Asked him to look at it. We did 12 resets, and every time the pin stayed standing. So it's one of those things when the mechanic is here, nothing goes wrong. As soon as he leaves, everything falls apart.
It's just like when you feel like crap and you go to the doctors, and then you get to the doctors, you feel fine.
Exactly.
He's off on a 3-pin.
All right.
Or on a 2-pin, I'm sorry. I'm backwards right now. He's got the 1, 2, and the 8 with some wood back there.
1 to hit, head pin goes.
Either side of the head pin. He got it, and a piece of wood came off from the left. But whatever it takes, he's got the spare.
Decent fill here should give him the strength.
It's at 89 plus a ball. Tim Douglas is at 86 in this box. And Duncan threw a nice 33-mile-an-hour ball and got 7 pins to go down, even though that he was off on a 3.
Time to capitalize now.
So now he's at 96 after 8. He hit it, but it didn't go. Sticky 8-pin.
Still where he wants to be score-wise to get the W. Again, I don't think total's really in play at this point.
No, he only needs 1 pin to tie and 2 pins to win this string right now. He's at 105. Tim finished with a 106. So Duncan ought to get some points here anyway.
Tim up 72 through 3, so.
And there it is. Duncan will win the 4th string with a 9 drop, leaving only the 5 pin.
It's something that Dan Gothier said to me once. When you're this far behind and you have a lead like this is the one, you do it for you. You don't worry about the score. Do it to prove to yourself that you can do it.
And he's got it. I always call it going out with honor. Going out with your head up. Not in defeat. So Duncan's at 115 plus a ball. And he punched out, picks up 3 in the fill, half or spread eagle plus the 9, but it doesn't really matter. He ends up with a 118.
Well, if you have to throw a rough fill, that's the time to do it.
Yeah, he doesn't have to chase that. So far, Tim Douglas has 6 points. Duncan now has 2, and I'll do the totals here. Tim is at 491 for 4. And Duncan's at a respectable 431 for 4. Now we're in our 5th and final string.
Duncan said earlier, you appreciate letting me have one before you throw that big 150 game. So we'll see if Duncan called that one.
Last week Tim threw a 666 against Linehan. There's a spare, so 3 out of 5 strings. Tim has made a mark in his first box.
And 666 might be revenge for 2 years ago, Rob knocking Timmy out of the playoffs as the 7 seed, Timmy the 2 seed. 2 years in a row that's happened to Tim. First was Rob Linehan, and second with his own flesh and blood, Scott Douglas, as the 7 seed taking it down.
Oh, half Worcester left for the fill for a 12 box to start. Oh, he's accumulating points like crazy right now.
Tim fell a little behind in the schedule, but
Oh, I know that feeling.
since he's been coming back, he's been on a roll.
Oh, so I thought he was going to have another shot at a high-low jack, but we didn't get it.
Do they pay for that in this league?
Could. And an 8 box, 20 after 2.
Sometimes you have to look at that as 2 taps. Say, okay, I had a 10 out of 10, and I got to bounce back. Right on the head pin.
Oh, yeah. In the left-hand pocket, drops 9, leaves a 3-pin.
I don't think that wood is in play. I don't think it's touching as much as it needs to be. We'll see.
Unless you're right on the end of it. Didn't need it anyway. So a spare and a third for Tim Douglas, 30 and a ball.
Don't know if that ball's coming back. That might be in the curtain.
I don't see anything down there.
$74 plus after 5.
All right, Timmy's on the fill in the 4th box. And he takes out 6 and leaves just the 4 horsemen. That gives him 36 after 3. He's going for the spare attempt on the 4 horsemen left. Oh, he dropped his ball a little bit, bounced it in. It's very uncharacteristic. You don't see that.
Good. We were talking earlier behind the desk about how smooth of a ball he does throw. So as you're saying, it's uncharacteristic.
In a 9 box, 45 after 4. Yeah, he had a couple 70 halves early on.
Definitely capable of throwing those.
And he came back clutch in the 9th or 10th a couple of times too. And a Caleri, 5 down, 5 up, 4 horsemen plus a 9-pin.
These situations, you just got to treat it like the 4 horsemen. Run them down, see if the bag carries. You try to get too cute with it, you miss the head pin altogether.
Oh, don't I know that? Well, he's in the pocket and he's got the 7 wiggling. Is it going to take? There it goes.
Gonna have to do a score correct on that one.
So in last Wednesday's match watching Tim, he had about 3 strikes that had a really, really slow last pin to go. It seemed to be the style. And he threw a big hammer, so we knew that he could.
Throw the ball that hard, the pins dance around up there for a little bit. Sometimes that'll happen.
For somebody who's slow like me, who throws a slower ball, the pins have stopped before them. All right,
Some people just keep waiting. You never know.
First box for Duncan in the 5th. Nice ball. 3 in the 10.
Throwing his hand at it, but that goes.
Yeah, you just have to hit the 6 or the 3. It's not the 6. I'm thinking you hit the 3 either side of it, it ought to go. I'd hit it on the inside.
I think with that piece of wood on the left-hand side, I agree. He went to the right side, but it's just a little off.
Yep. It's going to be open in the 1st. He's up against a 12 in the 1st. And a 9 box, and Caitlin says she should have put a Hawaiian flower on Duncan's shirt. Duncan's known for wearing a Hawaiian shirt a lot of times. In fact, it's rare to see him not in something like that.
See if Duncan can show us how it's done.
Is there an 8-pin back there?
You're right, there is.
Yeah, okay, so that's 4 horsemen plus the 8 and the 9. So it's a Caleri plus. And he's got it. What a shot. That was beautiful.
A little bit prettier than Timmy's was.
So now he's at 19 plus a ball, and Tim is at 20 at 2. This is a tight one so far.
Very
Dun-
head pin here.
Duncan's most realistic hope is to pick up 4 points here, and he drops the strike. 30 or 29 plus. Yeah, for the second box, he's at 29. Now he's at 39 plus 2 balls. And that was a good time to do it. Tim had a spare in that box.
He can get 7 right on this fill here. He's going to put himself in really good shape.
Nice ball. A little too nice. Spread eagle. But he watched Tim make the spare, so maybe he learns how to do it. Be fun to see 2 of those. Not today. 5 fill and a strike. 44 after 3 to Tim Douglas 36 after 3.
If we can get out of here with an 8 box, he'll be in good shape. His opposite of spare in the 5th box.
Yep. 7 box for Duncan, and he's at 51 to Tim Douglas 45. Tim had a spare in the 5th, so he'd like to match that. Spare's good anytime.
Blows right through it.
Right on the head pin again. Spread eagle minus a 10. Good try.
Something that Jeremy Seaholm had told me that he does. When you're left with 3 and 2, shoot. Not everybody agrees with it, but shoot the 2 because you're more likely to catch the back pin on the 3 and bring it up with the shoot.
And that's a 9 box. He's at 60 at 5. Tim Douglas 55 plus a ball. I have to agree with that because, about a couple months ago, and in the Monday League here, I punched out and had a spread eagle plus a 9. And I was just going back, the 3 on the left and then 4 on the right. And for my spare ball, I went to the left. And wouldn't you know, that's exactly what happened because it kicked the 9 into the 10 and they fell forward. I got a spare. I won't have to do that every day. Look at that. Timmy on a 9 drop.
Wow.
That looked like a strike to me. 64. He closes with the 9 fill on the 5th box spare for the 64. So now he's back in the lead by 4 pins. He's just left with the 4 pin to shoot at. Try to stay away from that wood. Well, I guess didn't want to stay away from that wood because that spared.
I think he was trying to stay away. You can see by his reaction there. It's not how he drew it up, but it went just the same.
So he's at 74 plus a ball after 6. Started a little slow in this game, but he's picking it up now. That's what he's been doing. He just throws multiple spares at you.
Oh, no.
Half Worcester left. 2 fill. 76 after 6.
That's a close to the end.
He keeps Duncan close. Duncan's known to throw some big ones when it matters. So we'll see. Timmy's going to look to close the door quick here.
And he's through the hole.
All right, big out, go get it.
You don't see him do that very often.
Just to avoid the 2 box here.
Hold on now.
You throw a 2 box and your opponent throws a 10, that's the same as them basically throwing a mark at you.
Yeah, he did the right thing and went deep into that pile of pins and took out everything
Nice
but
out,
the
nice out.
7 and the 5, it looks like. So it's an 8 box, 84 after 7.
Big difference between an 8 and a 2 box.
Don't get fancy on those shots, just get pins. You don't have to get them all. You got them all that time. No doubt about that one.
It's a lot easier to get a strike than it is to shoot a single.
Who needs that for?
I noticed Tim has a habit of wait after he throws a strike, he wants to throw the same ball again, so he waits for that ball to come back. All of us have our little superstitions and quirks, and I just saw him doing that last match, and I thought it was kind of fun. He's going for a double now.
Good enough ball.
Oh yeah, he's in the 1-2 pocket, takes out everything but the 3, 5, 6. So 7 on his first ball. And amazingly, that didn't go. He was on the object. So he's got a 9 fill and a strike. That gives him 103 after 8.
Something about triangles here.
And it's a 10 bucks. It gives him 113.
Kate writes, mental note, if we bolt Timmy, we have to lose the strike ball out back. I got you, Kate. I know what you're at.
Oh, he scared the 3-pin. Usually it's a 2-pin, so now we know it's a pin. So we've got to wait for a reset here.
Here we go, bud. What do you say, Al?
And his 10th and final box of the 5th string. So this is Tim's final box of the match. And he gets a 7 drop
Oh, that's there for you.
with a very interesting split here, which I think he might just make if he goes low on that wood.
Come on, it's a fun shot.
What is that? That's the 8, 5, and 10.
But that wood's lined up perfect.
Yeah, you just got to hit it low. A little too high, didn't it? That avoided the 8-pin.
Wanted to go right where the 8 pin and that piece of wood met.
And a 9 box for a 122 string for Tim Douglas.
Duncan's looking at a 62 tie, 63 to win here.
No, Tim didn't lie down and let him take it, that's for sure. So Tim Douglas has a 613 for his 5 strings. Duncan on a 2-pin takes out 3. This is makeable. Just get in that pocket.
Oh, wait.
He steal it. He does. He's got it. He was off on the. He was off a little to the right where he wanted to be, but it still went.
No, Duncan's very charismatic here. You just got to settle down, get right back on that head pin, some rotation. See if you can get a good fill with a makeable lead.
That's a good ball.
Does it?
That's an 8 fill, and now he's at 78 after 6 to Tim's 76 after 6. He's right in this thing. And the wood goes around, wraps around the 2 pins there. He needed to be a little further to the right.
Yeah, you gotta hit that one high.
But he gets a 10. 88 after 7, up 4 pins. There's some wood in the gutter.
Thought he was going to throw that before Sweep came back up.
Nicely done.
Still looking for a mark here.
Yeah, he needs he needs 34 pins to tie, so he needs 1 mark. He got the first one out of the way, now he gets the second. It's off on the left on a 2-pin. He's got the line of 3 and a triangle in the back, so 6 remaining.
Whoa, wow, a little too thin.
Yep. Light on the head pin, it just takes 1.
Got to get a bunch here because whether or not he makes this, he needs a mark regardless, but that fill is going to come into play.
Well, you can't do better than that. That's 10 bucks for 98 after 8, down 5 pins right now.
So
So,
this makes it that he only needs a 4 fill for a tie, 5 fill for a win if he's 10 out.
yep. That's a good ball. This is an opportunity now. You just nothing but 1 pin to go at. Those pins look tiny in this situation, I know, but
Kip Easterbrook's once said, singles are the easiest pin to hit. You hit it, it goes every time.
and he's off to the right.
Got it. As a bowler, those hurt the most because you know if you didn't get rocked, you missed. We've all been there. Now Duncan's got to regroup and put himself in that same position.
So much easier on the third ball. He's at 108 after 9 to Tim's 113. He needs a spare 4 to tie, spare 5 to win.
Throw a nice ball right in the middle. Give yourself something to shoot at.
Well, that's not too bad. A 1-3. No wood that's going to block it. Just a matter of making the shot. And he does. This is when you get nervous because you need that 5 to win.
This is where all those 10s he got really come into play. And that could be the determination of whether or not he wins this match. For a nice fluff ball at the head pin will help you out.
He's in there.
That's game.
6, 7, 8. And Duncan MacDougall will win the 5th string with a 126. So he takes it by 4 points.
I found something at the end there.
But 4 points for total will be awarded to Tim Douglas, who will take 10 points. Duncan MacDougall will take 4 with a total of 557. So to recap, Tim Douglas won game 1, 2, and 3. Duncan MacDougall came back and won game 4 and 5. But Tim had a commanding lead on total, and that 613 to 557. Great match.
Absolutely. It was great to see Duncan cut it out at the end. Easy to, you throw that single, that 9-drop rather than 9, miss a single. It's easy to give up on the 10th box. But he came back strong, hit the 1-3 clean, gets a spare, and gets a nice fill to close out the string.
It was a great match. Great seeing both these bowlers go. They put on quite a show. Lots of action. Lots of backswing.
Get your 1+1.
So, everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. This is a great match. We'll see you at the next one. And again, this is Dan Castle on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Thank you.
Cheers.